right, hello there. Thanks for waiting, everyone. I just had to make sure everything was good to go with the stream. And yeah, welcome. Thanks for joining in here today live on either YouTube or Zoom. I'm your host, Spencer, with Top Producer's Customer Success Team. And today we're going to be walking through how to get started with your Top Producer X CRM. So whether you're a brand new user or you've been with Top Producer for a long time and you're just getting started with TPX, good to have you here. So before we begin, just going to cover some administrative items here. And just give me 1 second to clean up this chat box here. It's always a little bit of a hassle to get this all lined up. Just let me kind of fiddle with this for 1 sec. Ali in the chat, they're saying, hello, Spencer Marvin. Hope you're having an awesome Tuesday. Thank you very much, Ali. You too. Good to see you here. All right. Okay, anyway, sorry about that, guys. Just give me one moment more here. All right, as I said, this is getting started with Top Producer X. Just going to switch on over here. And yeah, this is your host, Spencer, also joined by my friend and colleague Marvin LaRosa in the live chat on both platforms. Marvin's one of our research technicians, and he's always here to help answer your questions in the chat and to engage with you guys as well. So feel free to reach out in either the chats, Zoom or YouTube. We definitely monitor both. We'd be happy to hear from you guys about anything you'd like to share. Maybe you want to talk about how long you've been in real estate for, where you're coming from, where you do real estate at, how long you've been with Top Producer for. Any other details that you feel like sharing, please feel free to do so. The show is definitely interactive. So all you have to do is either just use the chat function here on Zoom. You can also use the questions and answers section, which will send the questions directly to me, and I can answer them live here for you. Excuse me. And you can also do that via YouTube if you are on the YouTube platform. All you have to do is be logged in with a Google account, and that's going to let you comment in the YouTube chat section instead. So moving right along here, guys. Actually, just taking 1 second here. We have Robert in the chat. Robert, thanks for joining in here. Robert's from Ohio. He says 16-year Top Producer user. Awesome. Robert, good to have you here. Thanks for joining in. And hopefully I can show you a little bit about how to get started with Top Producer X. Get off on the right footing here to make sure that you are ready to go with the latest version of the Top Producer CRM. So once again, Robert, good to have you here. So let me just go back here. So yeah, as I said, the show is interactive. Feel free to join in as Robert has. And moving right along here, just want to point out, maybe after the show, you would like some one-on-one assistance. That's not a problem. All you have to do is reach out to our customer care team, and there's a variety of different ways to do so. You can use the live chat in the bottom right corner of your Top Producer CRM, or any Top Producer product for that matter. It'll say get help now. And so definitely attention drawing, easy to find in the bottom right. That'll instantly connect you with one of our senior tech reps. You can also call in at 1-800-830-8300. Just please allow... I'm getting a little bit mixed up in my... I was going to say, please... those two options are available during our business hours is what I meant to say. Sorry, I'm thinking about the email. Sorry. You can also email us at support@topproducer.com. And for that one, please allow up to 1 or 2 business days for a response. You definitely do not have to wait 1 or 2 business days for a response when calling in. That's not something you have to worry about. So that being said, guys, we're going to move right along to the next thing. And this is the game plan for today. We're going to go over how to configure Top Producer X's settings, talk about why they're important and how to configure them to your specifications and to how you run your business. We'll talk about ways how to build your Top Producer X database, whether that's bringing contacts in from a spreadsheet, using our contact sync feature to bring contacts from an email service, or maybe a combination of both. After that, we'll talk about using the follow-up coach for following up with your database, cleaning up your database, and just being consistent with your follow-up across your sphere of influence, past clients, leads, etc. And then finally, we'll finish off with some how to find some support and help resources and how to contact us. So we'll reiterate that at the end for you guys as well. So jumping into our first point here, it says Create a solid foundation for success with TPX by learning about vital settings first. So everything from setting up your email integration, connecting your MLS, things like that, all vital settings that are going to help you get the most out of your top producer. So you've made the first step, you subscribed. It's good to have you guys here. But now the next step is to really make sure that you are utilizing it as fully as you can, that you're fully integrated into your day-to-day, your business life, and making sure that you are getting the maximum return on investment from it. So what I'm going to do first here is for our brand new users, let me just show you an example of what the welcome email looks like. So maybe you just signed up and you're not sure how to get logged in. Let me just show you an example of what that looks like here. So I'm going to open this in a PDF file. We're just going to pretend that this is the email. So the email will look a lot like this. It should say, welcome to better client relationships with Top Producer CRM. It'll actually be coming from sales. So just look out for that, sales. And then it'll say, ready to build client relationships, get started. If you scroll down in the email here, oops, sorry, my thing is going a little bit haywire there. My computer. Okay, so there we go. If you scroll down in the email, it'll show you your username and password right here. This is what you can use to log in with. You can definitely change your password later on. Please don't worry about that. So then just click on either of these Get Started buttons, either in the middle or on the top left here. And that'll launch you right into Top Producer X CRM. So then it'll bring you to the login screen. Just simply go ahead and log in with those credentials. And if you guys need any help, if you're having any trouble logging in, just please reach out to our customer care team. We'll definitely assist you with getting on track with that. Not a problem there. But yeah, go ahead and sign in. And assuming that everything is okay, you should be met with a screen that looks a lot like this. So this is Top Producer X. This is your contacts page. Being a CRM, obviously, people are everything. Your contacts are everything in your business. And so that's where you land when you first log into the CRM. I just want to note, for our Top Producer 8i or Top Producer Classic users, if you'd like to make the jump over to Top Producer X, all you have to do is click the TPX button along the top menu bar here, and that's going to get you logged right into Top Producer X. So assuming you are in Top Producer X, just want to give you guys a quick little run through of your sales pipeline, just so you have an understanding of that first before we jump into anything else. So right along the top here, you'll probably notice these tabs. So there's new, engage, future, active, and closed. There's also the follow-up coach. We'll talk about that a little bit more soon. But these tabs represent where someone is in your real estate business. So new is going to be for brand new leads that you have not contacted yet. People that should be followed up with as soon as possible, obviously. Best chance of converting that lead is getting to them in the first 5 minutes. After that, the chances start to drop considerably. Other agents may have gotten to them already. They might kind of lose interest or, whatever it is if they're not super serious. So definitely want to get those leads out of new and into the next stage as fast as possible, which is engage. So engage is this step that you can move a contact into after you have followed up with that lead initially, but they're not qualified yet. So you're still working with them, trying to see how serious of a buyer or seller they are. If they are qualified, they're qualified for a loan, that kind of thing. And if they do decide to work with you, if they are eligible to work with you and buy or sell a home right now, then what they can do is be moved to active to signify that they're now your active client. You're currently working with them. They're a current opportunity. If they're not, however, maybe they're more of a long-term prospect, you can switch them to future. Maybe they want to buy 6 months out or a year out, but not right now. You can switch them to future to signify that, still stay in touch with them. This is generally where a lot of your sphere of influence will end up anyway, because if you think about it from an optimistic sales perspective, potentially everyone can be a future prospect. So a lot of your sphere of influence should sort of sit in the future category usually. Deanna in Deanna in the chat saying here, the screen is really fuzzy and light. I just got off another Zoom. I've not had this problem for your information. Okay. Really sorry about that, Deanna. So we did sort of encounter something similar to that last time. Gonna have to look into that some more. I know that on YouTube the quality is really good. So if you'd like to, you can definitely make the switch over to YouTube. Same feedback from Cheryl here, guys. I'm really sorry about that. Let me see if I can play around with my Zoom settings here. Just a moment. Just be 1 second here, guys. Just going to see if I have any other settings that I could potentially change. Sorry for the wait, folks. Yeah, I can definitely get you the YouTube link there, Daniel. I'll just be 1 moment here with the YouTube link for you guys. So I just put the YouTube link in the Zoom chat. So really sorry about that, guys. Zoom is sort of a Zoom webinar specifically is a new platform for us, so we're still kind of working that out. Yeah, no problem, Deanna. Please feel free to join in on YouTube. Exact same stream, exact same content, and the quality there is tried and true. It should be pretty decent on there, 720p or maybe even 1080p. So really sorry about that, guys. We'll try to work that out more for next time for our Zoom users. For now, feel free to join in on YouTube. I do apologize, but yeah, thankfully YouTube can just be. Here, sure, I'll share it again here for you. Oops. There we go. Sorry about that. I was accidentally only chatting with panelists, which is not very useful. So there's the link for everyone there. All right, guys. So yeah, feel free to switch over to YouTube. Like I said, links just in the chat right now. You can also go to youtube.com/TP Campus. So TP as in top producer, and then campus. That's another way to get to it. So yeah, but yeah, like I said, link is right in there. So sorry for the inconvenience, everyone. So moving right along then. As I was saying about the contact statuses here. Like I said, new for new leads, engage for followed up with leads, future for future prospects, active for current clients, and close for past clients, closed transactions. You can always move your closed past clients into other statuses. So for example, if a past client presents a new opportunity, maybe repeat business, or they start being a good referral source, you can always switch them to active or something like that. Yeah. And yeah, so a couple big reasons why you would want to use these statuses. One being, obviously your own organization is easier to view things split up. It's nice. It's actually kind of addicting, honestly, to move contacts through the pipeline and see that represented. But also there's a big feature in the CRM called the follow-up coach, which is this tab over here. So we'll talk about this more soon, but what the follow-up coach will help you do is get your database on track with suggestions for adjusting their records, following up with them. And as you start to work on your database more and more, the follow-up coach will be less about cleaning up and more about actual, legitimate, useful follow-up suggestions. So you might be working on your best leads, your current clients, as you should, but the follow-up coach is going to help you make sure that no one falls through the cracks. Not even your sphere of influence contacts, not your past clients, that kind of thing. So it's a really great way to focus in on 5 contacts at a time instead of potentially like 500, for example. So you can use it beyond these 5. It's just at its core, that's kind of its concept, is at least your 5 a day is a great place to start. So we'll talk about that more in just a little while. But for now, guys, let's go ahead and talk about the settings. So if you have first logged into Top Producer X, just want to point out you would have been met with the subscriber agreement if you're a brand new user. So if you're not sure what that's about, that basically just goes over the terms and conditions. If you're not aware of those, please reach out to your account executive, your sales rep, to make sure that there's an understanding there. You can talk to them about that. Just make sure that, like I said, you understand how it works with the subscription terms. After that, you'll be brought into the My Information page, where you can set up your profile. So not a huge rush to fill this out. If you are a Market Snapshot subscriber as well, then this is a little bit more vital, as it will use this information for your branding on your reports. Otherwise, please don't feel like you have to be in a rush to fill this out. I would recommend filling in the mobile phone section, however. Also checking that the agent email section is the best email for you, because this one will be used to recover your account, reset your password, that sort of thing. And then I would recommend scrolling down to the bottom, making sure your time zone is correct, and just saving my info. And one thing to note is if you do want to upload images, these are primarily only used for your Market Snapshot as well. But if you do want to upload these, just make sure they're not too big. I would say cap them off at 2 megabytes, or just make sure they're just physically not very large images. If they are 20 times the size that you see here, you will probably run into an error when trying to upload them. So you want to have to shrink down. You want to shrink down huge images first before uploading them, so that you don't encounter any issues. And then just click Save My Info. So then after that, it'll ask you to add or import contacts. If you would like to import from a CSV file, you can always do that later. What I usually recommend is doing add contact and just adding one contact for now. You could fill this out, create a, maybe add a lead of yours you're working on, maybe add a client or a past client. And if you really want, you can even just add yourself or a friend or colleague if that's easier right now. And then we can go from there. So after you have that contact created, let's go down to the settings button in the bottom left corner and start configuring the settings of the Top Producer CRM. So a good place to start here is the 6th option down, which is email integration. And that's because this is a really big feature in the CRM. This is going to let you actually use your existing business email with your Top Producer CRM, send and receive messages out of here, see if people are opening your emails, view the email history between you and your contacts without hunting through your inbox for email threads and things like that. So it's a huge asset to have, really useful for follow-up, just for retaining and easily checking in on email conversations between you and your contacts. So to get started with this, all you have to do is fill in your email address in the field here and click authorize. Depending on the email service, you'll be met with different steps. So for example, if you use Gmail, that's a really easy one to integrate. All you have to do is enter it in there, follow the steps, and then you'll be brought to a standard sort of Google permissions sort of login screen where you just select allow. And it basically just wants permissions to read and write, but not delete anything from your Gmail account, so that it can act as an email client. So sending, receiving emails, basically. If you use a brokerage provided email, like say a Office 365 address or something, or I should say an Exchange server, that might require a little bit more specific server settings, such as port numbers and server addresses and things like that. So if you're at a stage where you just simply can't connect, you can always reach out to our customer care team. We'll make sure that you have what you need to get connected, or at least advise you as to what the next steps would be. Sometimes you might have to reach out to your IT team or your manager or a system administrator and just obtain that information and get permission to do that first. But yeah, chances are if you're just using a personal email, this should be very easy to integrate. But yeah, if you guys encounter any issues, please just let us know. So after you integrate it, if it says status running, this means you are good to go. You can start using email integration right away. After that, moving down to the next step here, there's email signatures. So this is where you can add your email signature. So it'll say has signature no. You just click right on this line here, and you can work on your signature in the editor. So if you have an existing signature in your email account, feel free to copy and paste that over. That should work just fine. If you encounter any issues with that, you might have to work on the formatting a little bit from within the email here. So I've got a question in the YouTube chat here from Deanna. Deanna saying, can we use more than one email? A good question, Deanna, and you absolutely can. You can integrate essentially as many emails as you want, so that you can switch between them. You can view email history between any of your integrated emails and that contact. You can also select to choose to send from any of those emails that you have integrated. And then you would just go in and assign the correct signatures to each of them. So good question, Deanna. If you have any more questions about that or anything else, just feel free to let me know. So yeah, after you have worked on that, feel free to just save signature. And yeah, moving right down to the next step here, we have this tab, lead providers. So actually, I'm getting a couple questions in the Q&A section on Zoom here. So let's just take a moment here. So I have a question from Robert. So Robert's asking, when will X have a mass email feature? So Robert, good question. That should be on its way soon. So on the 17th, so 2 days from now, we are launching custom email templates. That will allow you to first make your own email templates. And we're also launching some other great features, such as a brand new recent contacts tab, which will allow you to easily see the contacts that you've recently interacted with and clear that out whenever you want and restart it whenever you want. So then after the email templates update gets launched, it shouldn't be too much longer, as far as I know, for the mass email functionality and email plans. Unfortunately, I can't provide a exact ETA or anything like that, but for what I know, it should follow in sometime in the next month or next month and a half or so is sort of the timeline that I've heard. Once again, this is kind of a guesstimate on my part, so just stay tuned. Product updates you can always find on our blog and from right within the Top Producer CRM. So just stay tuned a little bit longer, Robert. It is very much on the way soon. We've just got to lay the groundwork first with the email templates to allow you to make your own emails and things like that. We have another question also here from Gabrielle. Gabrielle's asking, can you use Top Producer for monthly email marketing or just having email conversations? So yeah, good question again as well, Gabrielle. So monthly email marketing, the biggest thing we have for that, the best thing we have for that is honestly Market Snapshot. So Market Snapshot, as I kind of touched on a little bit, is an add-on product for Top Producer X. It allows you to send off custom market reports to any contact that you want with a variety of criteria and settings. So you can custom tailor this to what the person is looking for, whether they're a buyer, potential buyer or seller. So you can show them properties to browse through. If they are a seller or a past client, you can show them what their home value is worth, what their neighbors' houses are selling for. So then that way they know when it's a good time to actually sell if they're looking to, so on and so forth. You can set that up weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, every half year, that kind of thing. So it's very, very flexible. They can filter it a lot. They can customize it a lot. You can change it for them. And it's a great conversation starter. It's something that you can send that has a ton of value. So that's kind of the best email marketing thing we have because it's directly related to real estate. It's all about your services. It's all about you, the great properties that they can browse through, and the data on that property. So you really present yourself as that go-to real estate professional. Your branding is attached to the report everywhere. So that's what I would say would be the best thing for monthly email marketing. But also, as I talked about when I was answering Robert's question, we do have those email task plans and things coming soon. So that will be another option where you can make your own custom emails to send out as marketing pieces as well. So Gabriel, really good question there. So Robert's also saying, unfortunately for me, Market Snapshot is not available in my MLS. Okay, so Robert, if that's true, I'm sorry to hear that. What I'll do is I'll look into that a little bit further just to confirm that. So I'm just going to note down your name here, Robert, and I'll look into that and just to double check and make sure that is the case, because I wouldn't want you to be left without it if somehow there is a way to make it work for you. Okay, so I've just noted that down here, Robert. I'll try to follow up with you as soon as I can if I find out anything more on that. Kathy has a question here. Kathy's saying, Market Snapshot is great, but it only pulls the past 3 months. Have they fixed that? So great question, Kathy. Past 3 months. So basically how Market Snapshot works is it'll max out at, I believe it's 100 entries, 100 listings. About the 3 months, I'm actually not 100% sure on that. I don't think it should max out at 3 months. It's more about the limit of 100 properties as far as I know. So Kathy, I can look into that some more and follow up with you on that as well. And yeah, it'd just be good to get some insight, I guess, as to what you would like it to do and why you would like it to do that. That would be really interesting for me to know, so that I can we can figure out how to best make that work for you, Kathy. So if you don't mind, I'll definitely follow up with you on that, or get someone else to follow up with you on that. So Robert's saying his MLS is Dayton, Ohio. Okay, thank you, Robert. That saves me a little bit of time. I appreciate that. Yeah, Kathy, no problem at all. Thanks for speaking up about that. Definitely look into that for you. All right, guys. So just heading back to Top Producer X here. Like I said, we have the next tab down, which is lead providers. So lead providers, what this is for is getting leads directly into your Top Producer X CRM from your lead sources. So whether that would be paid leads, from Realtor.com, Zillow, Trulia, etc., or maybe it's just simple as a lead form on your website where someone can fill out the form and contact you. Either way, you can use this unique address to get those leads directly into your Top Producer CRM. So all you do is copy this address and paste it into your lead provider settings. So you should have like lead forwarding settings, lead notification settings. You would point it towards this, and I would recommend doing this address in addition to your standard email address so that you still get that email, but you get the lead going to your CRM at the same time. So just taking one quick pause here, we have a question on YouTube from Deanna. Deanna's asking, will TP be doing an app soon? So Deanna, from what I know, and I don't work on the product team, so I can't say for sure, but from what I've heard, I don't believe we are, because the idea is to be able to log into Top Producer CRM in any web browser, basically. You can log into Top Producer X. The mobile compatibility is still a little bit of a work in progress, so for now, I would actually recommend the classic version of Top Producer Mobile. So I'll have Marvin post the link in the YouTube chat here for you. How to get to Top Producer Mobile, because it actually really is quite easy to use. It's a nice little website, very easy to use on a touchscreen with big buttons and just getting you right to the section that you need to be. Contacts, follow-up coach, tasks. You can wrap up tasks right on your phone after making phone calls or texts. It's a very nice, it has some very nice workflows to it that can really help you integrate the CRM into your day-to-day business life. So Deanna, if you haven't yet, I do recommend really checking out the Top Producer Mobile Classic version until TPX is really, really 100% ready to go for mobile usage. Because eventually, you will just be able to log into Top Producer X on your smartphone and have the almost identical experience to the desktop version. So really good question there, Deanna. So moving right back to Top Producer X here, we have the lead provider settings. Like I said, feel free to copy and paste this into your lead providers. Make sure your leads are coming into your CRM, and then that way you can start managing them within the Top Producer X environment as soon as possible. And so Deanna was saying thank you in the chat there. No problem, Deanna. Thank you. Yeah, so if you need any help with dealing with your lead providers, getting them hooked up to Top Producer, just please don't hesitate to reach out. We can definitely assist you with that. We're very well versed in a wide array of these kind of things, so just please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd be happy to hear from you guys and make sure that you have what you need. So actually I also have a question in the chat here from Rachel. And Rachel's asking, does the MLS credentials work with boards in Canada? So Rachel, it actually does work with some of the boards in Canada. We've expanded the support more and more to more Canadian boards. So yeah, for example, Northwest MLS, and some other ones here in Vancouver, I believe it does work with, as far as I know. I know it works for Market Snapshot specifically. As for Top Producer X, we'd have to just kind of play around with that and see if it is an option. So what you would have to do here is go to Settings in the bottom left, and then go to MLS Credentials. Click on Add MLS Credentials. See, you'll see I have the Northwest MLS registered here just fine. That's for Seattle, I guess. And then what you could do is you could search for boards in Canada. So like Vancouver. We have Vancouver there. We have Ottawa, for example. So you just have to take a look in there and just see if your board is available. Try searching it by a couple different keywords that you think it might go by. And if all else fails, just please reach out to our customer care team. We can help troubleshoot that, try to help you pinpoint that, and confirm whether or not your board is available, because we do have all that information on our side. We have a big repository of MLS information on our side, so just give us a call if you'd like to confirm that. Rachel, and you can also use the live chat in the bottom right corner of the CRM here to also quickly ask a question like that if you'd like. So going back to the settings, so we're moving down from lead providers. Quickly, let's just talk about Market Snapshot. So Market Snapshot is, like I said, a great add-on to Top Producer X. It's part of the Top Producer Pro bundle. allows you to send out these custom market reports, sort of like a mixture of a property search, a CMA, and a drip campaign all in one. So now it doesn't necessarily excel at any one of those three areas, but what it is a nice, value pack of lots of things together. It can sort of play multiple roles depending on if you're sending to, like I said, a seller, a buyer, a past client, things like that. It's very easily adaptable and can provide just about anyone with tons of value related to the real estate market. So if you have Market Snapshot, this is where you can configure the settings. And Rachel's saying thank you in the chat. So Rachel, not a problem. Thank you for the question. Yeah, if you have Market Snapshot, this is where you can do the settings. If you are brand new to Market Snapshot, I do honestly recommend just leaving this as is. Maybe just leave everything checked here. Because a lot of these things are changeable, are filterable by your recipients anyway. So I would say it's probably best not to limit them and just to give them more options in most cases. However, if you do change anything here, just remember to click Save Market Snapshot Settings. And also there's a View Sample button. Just use this if you want to see, maybe you made some changes in your My Information page recently. Maybe you've changed your color scheme, updated your picture, added your social media links. You can always use the View Sample to just quickly see what that looks like. So moving down from Market Snapshot, let's go to MLS Credentials. So as I kind of touched on very briefly here for Rachel, if you'd like to add your MLS board, just click on Add MLS Credentials. Maybe you are with, let's say, Bright MLS, for example. To start searching for Bright, it'll pop up there, and you click on it, and then it'll ask for your agent ID number. Some boards require agent ID number and a password, so that would be the password, the ID and password that you would use to log into your MLS. And go ahead and click Save Credentials. Now, I did just say that, but there are some cases where it can be, admittedly, a little bit confusing. Sometimes we have to do very intricate things to get MLSs to work with our systems, and so if you just cannot get this to connect, chances are we are aware of a way to get you connected, so please don't worry. All you have to do is reach out to customer care, and we'll make sure that your MLS is connected as soon as possible there for you. So moving right along now to Task Plans Manager. Just want to talk about this briefly. So the Task Plans Manager here is where you go to curate your own custom task plans, whether that would be for new lead follow-up plans, past client plans, transaction checklists, buyer under contract checklist, that kind of thing. This is where you can go to do that. So this is also laying the groundwork for those drip campaigns, automated emails. You'll be able to soon integrate that into your task plan. So I would actually recommend maybe setting the groundwork for your task plans, getting them set up ahead of time. You can always go back and later after we update it to add in those emails when that update is ready. So for now, feel free to browse templates if you want to see what we have as starting points. Click on one, you can import the plan here and just save it here at the bottom. And then you can also start from scratch. You don't have to use one of ours if you don't want to. For example, I can go add plan, and I'm not using a template. And I just want to call this my lead plan, for example. And I'm going to save this plan. And then, yeah, I have a blank plan. I can just start adding tasks. I can say call new lead, due on the day. I can save and add another task. Maybe I want my next one to be 3 days after plan start date, email lead, save another task. Maybe I want a second call to new lead, let's say 4 days after plan start date, save another task, so on and so forth. I can create my plans here really easily, and then here I have my plan starting to formulate. I can come back and edit it anytime and really set this as a good checklist and reminder for myself to take these actions whenever necessary. So we have a question here in the YouTube chat from Mike. Mike, thanks for joining in, sir. So Mike's asking, will Task Plans Manager travel from ADI go into TPX? So Mike, right now, there is not yet a way to do that. However, as far as I know, I think I have heard something about that being a possibility. So Mike, just stay tuned. Because we obviously know that a lot of our customers have these task plans created in ADI already. So it would be nice to bring those over. I completely understand. To do that first, as far as I know, we would have to set the right groundwork in TPX to allow that to come over, because right now some of the things in AI don't have an equivalent in TPX, so we would have to kind of configure that first. So Mike, just stay tuned. In the meantime, if you need any help recreating your favorite plans from AI in TPX as close as possible, what I would recommend is opening both versions side by side on your screen or on separate monitors. And within 10-15 minutes, you should have most of your plan recreated. We'd be happy to help with that and just kind of guide you through that process if necessary. But like I said, I believe there should be some sort of solution on the way. I'm just going to note that down, Mike, and just see if I can follow up on that. All right. So actually, I've got a couple questions in the Q&A section here. So in the Q&A section, we have a question from Gabriel. Gabriel saying, are you able to set up automated text with Top Producer? So not yet, but that actually is something that we also have planned. So first we're doing the email templates, and then the email task plans, and then texting is next. So texting as part of task plans is obviously an amazing idea especially for new lead follow-up. So that's something that we will be looking into soon. So Gabriel, just stay tuned a little bit more for that one. And then Robert was asking, are X task plans available in AI? So that's an interesting question. So there are very similar ones in 8i because we were, I guess, inspired by the ones from 8i originally. So yeah, if you look in 8i, you should be able to see those 3 templates or something very similar to them at least in 8i if that's what you need. So Robert, good question. And then, Robert's asking, are the 8i task plans available in X as well? And so yeah, I guess I just answered that for Mike. So yeah, question right now is not yet, but I believe there should be something on the way. In the meantime, it isn't too difficult to recreate them. In most cases, unless you have a super elaborate plan, then I understand that would be a bit of a hassle. But like I said, you can always call into customer care, and we could kind of assist you, give you some advice on how to best handle that if you like. And so Mike was just saying, great idea. Perfect. So heading back to TPX now. So yeah, Task Plans Manager, a bit more of an advanced feature if you're a brand new user. So I do recommend coming back here later. Just want to point out that is a possibility. And it seems we do have actually quite a few long-term Top Producer users here today. So this is also great to cover to show you guys that first, this is possible, and we are also going to expand on this very soon. So next up is team management. So this is a brand new addition to Top Producer X. If you are a long-term Top Producer 8i user, you likely know that, especially if you're a team leader or broker, you likely know that you can manage your team in Top Producer 8i. So now you can do that in X as well. If you are the responsible agent, aka the account holder, you can now manage your team in here. You can delete agent users. You can apparently you can email them from here. I didn't know that. You can edit them. You can switch their permissions and their username and things like that. Yeah, so that's something you can now do. You can also manage your team's pipeline in Top Producer X now. View tasks assigned to your agents. So team functionality is definitely quickly expanding in Top Producer X now. There's been some great updates recently, and there's even more to come. So moving down to the last step now, there is texting. So texting, this is a feature that allows you to send and receive messages right from your CRM with the use of a virtual texting number. And now, I'm sure your first question may be, why can't I use my regular phone number? And the reason for that is just because we simply just cannot let people spoof phone numbers. So that's honestly something that scammers do. And you know, I get them all the time. I get a call. It looks like it's from a 778, which is a local number here in Vancouver, BC. And sure enough, it's always a robot call or someone, you know, like an automated robotic call or something like that. So that's simply not something that we can legally do, is allow you to impersonate a phone number. So the next best thing is that you get a virtual texting number. It should be assigned in the same area code as your actual number. And it's kind of nice in a way because this is also a bit of a safeguard from the outside world and your phone number. So you can advertise this number in lieu of your actual number. And then that way, new leads can contact you there. You can chat with them via text message, follow up with them quite easily through the CRM and have that documented right there. And, when the time's right, you can definitely just give them your actual phone number if necessary. And be like, hey, you know what? Here's my business number. Feel free to reach me here if you'd like. Or my cell phone number. Reach me here if you like. And that kind of thing. But yeah, if you get a call to your virtual number, you actually won't miss anything. If they call this virtual number, it will route it to your cell phone. It'll ring. If they text that virtual number, you'll be notified by a notification number saying that you have a new message available in Top Producer X. So that is texting. Just follow the steps here. Reply with confirm on your phone, and away you go. You should be ready to go with texting. But if you have any questions, need any help with that, of course, you can always reach out to us, and we'd be happy to assist. So guys, that kind of brings us through the first point here. So little bit longer than usual, but I do appreciate the question, so that's actually more fun for me anyway. But that being said, I do want to make sure that you guys have what you need to get started. So we're going to quickly cover how to import your contacts via either a spreadsheet import or using the contact sync, or both. So maybe you have contacts coming from a different CRM, maybe from your MLS or elsewhere. Well, chances are you can get them right into your Top Producer X just with a little bit of configuration. So what we're going to do now is in the settings, we are going to go to, just really quick. Mike's saying, if I recall, texting option is not available in Canada. So Mike, unfortunately, that is correct. Right now, it is only available in the US. Once again, not 100% sure why. I do believe it probably has something to do with the service or partner that we use for texting is likely only available in the US, something along those lines. So, that's not to say that in the future we cannot and will not do texting in Canada. The more we get requests for that and feedback for that, I would say the more likely that is to happen. We can look into that if we know that a lot of people are interested. And the best way to do that actually is just in the bottom left corner, click the feedback button here, and that will actually allow you to send that feedback directly to our development team, to our managers and everyone. And that's the best way to get visibility on that feedback. So yeah, like I said, more we hear about that, Mike, that's moves it up and up and up in the priority to be worked on. So a couple other questions here actually in the YouTube chat. Clara, and Clara, thanks for joining in. Clara's with Remax Performance Realty. Clara says, I don't have a texting tab. Is it available in Canada? And yeah, Clara, unfortunately, as we just said, it's not available in Canada at this time. But like I said, that doesn't rule that out in the future. We'd just like to hear that feedback more and more. You can submit that through your CRM, and that's the best way to get it worked on. Then Catherine's asking, can the task set and task plans manager be taken over by anyone in the team? So actually, Clara, that's a really good question. There's a couple different ways to handle that. It's very flexible from the get-go. You can, for example, set who it's assigned to. So you can set it to be assigned to the person who applies the action plan. You can set it to be the person whom the contact is assigned. Or you can set it to a specific agent on your team to always be assigned to. And then once it is assigned to that contact, like let me just try this here. Let me just assign this plan here. So then what I can do is I can click into the task. Maybe I want the second call to be handled by someone else. I want to pass it off to a different agent or something like that. I can go to edit contact. And I can scroll down to the bottom of the screen here and actually switch the assignment to my other agent. Just like that, and save that contact. So Catherine, you absolutely can. So I hope that helps. So going back to TPX, and we're going to head down to the settings button. And we're going to go ahead to import contacts now. So this is if you'd like to import from a spreadsheet, CSV file. Like I said, maybe you're bringing it in from a different CRM, your MLS. Maybe it's something you've put together from scratch. Either way, choose file to import. Then you just browse your file for that computer. Or sorry, browse your computer for that file. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Clearly, I need to have a little bit more of my coffee here. So browse your computer for that file. Scroll down, find it, double click on it to open. And then you're at step 2 now. So yeah, no problem, Catherine. So then First up is contact status. As I said, this is very important to categorize the contacts in your pipeline properly. So if you're importing, let's say, mostly sphere of influence contacts, chances are you probably want to select future, as that would represent most of them. Maybe it's a list of all past clients. You likely want to import that as closed. Maybe it's a list of all brand new leads you have not spoken with yet. Maybe you want to set that to new then. And then in the chat here on YouTube, Claire is asking, will I be able to see if the agent completed the task I assigned? Claire, yeah, you absolutely can. You can, as a team leader, go into the task tab here. Let me just show you. Go into the task tab. You'd be able to switch the assign to that other agent. Maybe I want to see if Phil here has completed his tasks. I can then go and see Phil's tasks, and I can go to overdue. I can also go to complete. I can click the slider to complete, and then that way I'm going to be able to see what he actually has completed or not. So yeah, there are tons of ways to actually view and make sure that that person is completing the tasks, for sure. And I know that is very important to a team leader. And like I said, you can also view your agent's pipeline here. This is a new feature that we just added as well. I can switch this between different contact pipelines here. See, now I have 0 new, 16 engage, 29 future on this user. If I switch back, I have 1 new, 24 engage, 493 future, etc. So this allows you to go into your agent's pipelines and see where they are with their contacts, making sure that they are moving contacts through their pipeline in a timely fashion and as appropriate. So yeah, as I said, Clara, you can definitely view the tasks they've completed, the contacts in their pipeline, so on and so forth. We've greatly expanded that functionality in TPX recently. Yeah, not a problem, Clara. Clara's saying thank you, so no problem. So we're going to jump back to settings here. We are running a little bit low on time. So I'm going to go to import contacts. Like I said, choose file to import. Find that file again. Double click it to open. Let's say I'm importing a big list of contacts, the mix mash, past clients, sphere of influence, etc. I probably want to go for future in that case. I can tag these with whatever I want for a contact type using this box. Maybe I want to say this is my old CRM. I could tag it like that. Maybe I want to tag the date of import just for reference. I could do that. Oops, I hit something on my keyboard there. Let me try that again. Yeah, so maybe you have a list of all buyers, for example. You can tag them as buyers. Maybe this is all past clients. You can tag it as past clients, whatever you wanted to do here. Then the most important step is the field mappings. So you want to make sure that the field mappings match up as closely as possible. So left side shows you what is in your spreadsheet. In this case, this one actually matches up perfectly. Now, every spreadsheet is different depending on where it comes from. So this might read differently. You know, first name might be contact name or name. And then you might have second name or, you know, secondary contact or spouse. You'll want to map that up to secondary first name and secondary last name, for example. You might have email 1, email 2, email 3. You probably want to match that up to email address, other email, and other emails. So there's lots of options here. Just take your time, use the samples on the left side to see which columns in the spreadsheet that is. And I actually recommend also having your spreadsheet open in the background or maybe on another monitor so that you can also easily reference it to make sure, because this is no data for this field in your imported file. So that just lets us know that there is nothing in that one. Now, if you don't see that, but the sample is blank, that doesn't necessarily mean there's nothing. I would look at your spreadsheet, scroll down. So maybe the first few entries don't have anything in that field. Maybe they're missing a second email address, but maybe the 8th, 15th, 20 something, you know, contact in the spreadsheet does have that information. So you don't want to just write that one off. You definitely want to check your spreadsheet to make sure if someone has that information, and then you're going to want to make sure it's mapped. Couple of things to note: if you are importing addresses, you can use the street/address one right here to easily import either a whole address or the street address. It's a very versatile one. So whether it's the whole address from the street number to the zip code, you can use this, or if it's just a street address, you can use this. And then you can assign, you know, city, state, zip in separate field mappings. You can also use the add to contact notes if you'd like to bring in some information to your notes section. You can only use this mapping once in Top Producer X. You can also use contact type. So if you have a section in your spreadsheet that is already like tags, like buyer, seller, past client, etc., you can actually link this up directly to that specific or per contact when you're doing the import. So I've got a question for Clara here in the on YouTube. She's asking, can we import prospects from Matrix? Yeah, I don't see why not. If you can export, as Marvin just said in the chat, if you can export to a CSV file or any sort of spreadsheet that you can then save as a CSV file, which is as easy as just opening it in Excel and saving it as CSV instead of an Excel S file or whatever, then we can definitely get that in. Not every field from there may have a place to map to in Top Producer X, but that being said, it's definitely worth trying to get as much information as possible from those matrix contacts into your Top Producer. And if you need a hand with that, all you have to do is reach out to our customer care. We can definitely assist you with that, Clara. That's not a problem at all. So good question. So after you have reviewed this, and I honestly suggest triple check this, make sure that it's as close matched up as possible. If you are not sure, if you have any hesitations, I do recommend using the live chat in the bottom right to talk to one of our reps, or also you could also get on the phone, call us at customer care at our 1-800 number, and just say, hey, you know what? I just want to make sure that I'm using the best possible field mappings. Can I run through this with you? We'd be happy to help and make sure that you get the most out of your import so that you don't have to try to go in and fix it later and go through the frustration of dealing with that. But that being said, if you are good to go, you feel confident this is ready for import, feel free to click on Import Contacts. You will then be brought back to the Import Contact screen. It'll say in progress. Just wait a little while. If you're importing hundreds of contacts, this can take a few minutes. Just click check status once in a while to make sure that it is done. And then once done, you can go to the contacts page in the top left, and you'll be able to see your contacts under whichever status you imported them to. So if you selected future, click on future, and then your contact should be here. And I recommend clicking on one to open it and just kind of review it. Make sure it looks good. Make sure the phone number, email address, name is all matched up, contact types if you imported those. And then what you can do is you can use the arrow keys up here or the left and right arrow keys on your keyboard, bottom right of your keyboard, and quickly browse through contacts. And I'd recommend reviewing a couple of them just to make sure that your import looks good. If you're missing any emails or phone numbers, chances are that is because they were just missing in your spreadsheet for that person. Because if you see them on one contact but not another, that just means that contact did not have that information as it was imported. So that's how to import from a spreadsheet. We also have contact sync. If we go back to the settings in the bottom left, contact sync right here. This allows you to link up a email service to then bring in all of your contacts from your Google account, your Office 365, Outlook, even Apple iCloud. So please note this will bring in all of your contacts from that service. It'll keep it updated going forward. They'll all come into the future tab, tagged with either Gmail or iCloud or Outlook or whatever it is, so that you know where those contacts came from, and then you can move them to the right statuses if future is not the right place for them. But future is just sort of the safest placed for most contacts, so that's why it does that. A couple things to note: if you are an iCloud user, this is a little bit intricate. You will have to log into your iCloud or your Apple account and create what's called an app password. So, for example, I'm going to search for iCloud app password in Google here. And here's an article that you can reference if you're an iCloud user using app-specific passwords. This is an official guide by Apple, how to log into your account and generate an app password. So it's a one-time use password for use in a third-party program such as Top Producer X. So then you would also need your actual iCloud address. So if you sign in to your Apple account with like Spencer@yahoo.com or something like that, you will not want to use that one. That's like an alias address. You will need to use your actual iCloud.com address. So if you're not aware of that one, you should be able to find that somewhere in your iCloud account, maybe on your iPhone. If you're not sure, you can always contact Apple support, and I'm sure Apple could help you with that. So after you locate that iCloud address, that's the one you want to authorize if you're an iCloud user, if your contacts from your iPhone are syncing to your iCloud, that's the one you'll want to use. And then use that one-time use app password on the next step instead of your actual Apple iCloud password. Now, there's some other services that also have this two-factor authentication. If you run into that, it will likely tell you that that's what you need. If you're using Gmail, though, this should be very simple. Gmail is very easy to integrate. You just follow the steps, the usual sort of Google sign-in steps, and away you go. But any questions on this, guys, feel free to reach out. Contact Sync, very useful for getting your database started, also maintaining it. Maybe you're adding a new lead on the go on your Android phone. That syncs to your Google, and then that can sync to your top producer, and you have that contact in your database, and you didn't even do anything. Or do any extra work, I should say. So a couple different ways to get your contacts in here. And it's worth noting, Contact Sync does have a certain degree of built-in duplication checking. It will do its best to make sure that it doesn't create a duplicate contact if they're already in your database, based off their number, their email address, and their name. So guys, that is all these settings pretty much covered. Really quickly, we are pretty much out of time, but before we do finish up the show, I don't mind going a few minutes overtime here, as I really want to show you guys how to use the follow-up coach, how to get started with that, as it is a great portal into productivity in your database, getting on track and staying consistent with your follow-up for all sorts of contacts. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go... Actually, let's just jump right into the follow-up coach. Let's go to the contacts page in the top left, and then the follow-up coach tab along the top menu bar here. So this is what the follow-up coach will look like. And please do not be alarmed if you don't see anything in here. It does take about 24 hours or one day after your initial import for it to then kick in. So just give it a day. And actually in the chat section really quick here, Ali's saying good laughs today and lots of great questions. So happy to see all the communication. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you, Marvin and Spencer Marvin. Yeah, thank you a lot, Ali. Yeah, I'm glad I could provide some humor with my almost dyslexic approach to talking today. I honestly don't know what's going on with that. So, but yeah, glad to be of entertainment and of information at the same time. So good to have you here as usual, Ali. So follow-up coach. Like I said, core concept, 5 contacts at a time. You can use it beyond that, but that's a great way to get started. So some examples that you might see, some examples of what you might see, I should say, when you're first getting started is something like this one. Vinny Ferreira, future contact on the right side here. Schedule a follow-up to ensure imported contacts don't fall through the cracks. So what it's basically saying is I don't know where this person belongs because they're probably just part of a bulk spreadsheet import. So it's asking you to take action on that to categorize them. So let's click into this record. It's going to elaborate on its suggestion by saying update their pipeline status, contact type, and who they should be assigned to. So let's do all that at once. Let's just click edit contact at the bottom. Scroll all the way down to the bottom of the edit screen. You'll see contact status, contact types. Let's say in this case that Vinny, we recognize Vinny and we say, hey, Vinny's actually a pass client. Let's go ahead and switch him to closed. Let's add contact types. Let's type in pass client. And let's type in, maybe they were a past buyer. Let's just take them like that. Maybe they were also a referral. We can tag them as a referral. Maybe they were a friend of a friend. We could also do that. So you see, we can use contact types to easily tag our contacts in a variety of ways. So now we've set them to closed, set some nice contact types on there. We're making sure it's assigned to ourselves in this example and not a different agent. And let's go and click Save Contact. So we've updated them, but you'll notice the follow-up coach still kind of hanging out here. So if we click on Mark Done, well, unsurprisingly with a name like the follow-up coach, it is going to ask how you reached out. So maybe we don't need to reach out right now. That's okay. We could just skip this. They will pop up in the follow-up coach eventually because they're a past client. It's just a longer time frame. So maybe we want to take action right now. Maybe it's been a month since we've spoken to Vinny. We could call up Vinny, say, hey, how's it going? Been a little while since we spoke, just checking in. How's the place been? Blah, blah, blah. Just touch base with them. You could tell the follow-up coach then that we've called them. Spoke with Vinny, caught up. Might have referrals for me. Check back in a week. And then let's schedule a follow-up right here. Follow-up regarding potential referrals. and I want to set that to a week ahead in this case and try to call him again. Save that wrap up. So what we're doing is we've updated the contact just like that. We've been reminded to call Vinny, touch base with him. We're telling the CRM we've made a call. This is what happened, and we're scheduling a follow-up call to follow up on those potential referrals 1 week from now. Let's save that wrap up and take care of all of that at once. So now that's documented there. That's going to show up in his task tab. It's going to show up on my calendar, and of course on my task list, at the appropriate time. So just a quick example of the follow-up coach there. Great portal into productivity. Very quickly update your records, follow up with people at the same time. And so what I would say is my challenge to everyone watching right now is try to get into the follow-up coach. Maybe you've taken care of your tasks for the day. Maybe you've made all your pending phone calls, taking care of your to-dos, no more appointments for the day, that kind of thing. Feel free to jump into the follow-up coach and tackle those 5 contacts. And I think you'll be very surprised at what opportunities you can dig up that were already in your database all along. And just also, like I said, keep up to date with all of your past clients, sphere of influence, make sure no one falls through the cracks. So, question here before we finish in the chat from Mike. Mike's asking, any idea when the listing module will transfer over to X and when ADI transactions will sync to X? It's a good question, Mike. Once again, that is something that I believe is planned. I'll have to follow up on that as well, Mike. So let me just add this to my list here. I can probably get some more information for you on that. So Mike, is there anywhere that we can contact you that you are okay with sharing in the chat? Because I understand you would not want to share any personal information, but if you have like an email address that even your business email that you already advertise, feel free to share that. I'd be more than happy to reach out to you by that or something if that works for you. I can follow up with you on those questions because I know we were also asking about the task plans. ADI transactions in TPX. So I've noted that down, Mike, and one way or another, I guess we'll try our best to get some information out there. But that's something that I would like to hope that we can accomplish, sometime in the next few months. I'm not 100% sure though. Like I said, I don't work on the product team, so I can't give an official answer on that right now, Mike. But yeah, so follow-up coach, like I said, great way to get into extra productivity, to really work your database. So I recommend getting in there every single day or every other day. Make it part of your routine, and you can really work your database because a lot of your potential business is already in your database all along. That's what we find. So guys, before we finish up here, what's next? Just want to point you in the direction of some best next steps. So quick start videos, other webinars, and of course you can contact our customer care department. So best way to find all this is actually from your Top Producer X. Just click on the top right corner profile button here. If you don't have a picture set, it'll just be a little gray little person icon. Click on that. Click on the third option, support site. And Marvin's also linked to provided a direct link to the quick start videos. You can also access that right here in the video library. As Marvin just said, you can also go to topproducer.com/campus or tpcampus.com. Either of them work. So quick start video library right in the center, covering tons of different subjects. How to use the follow-up coach, how to import contacts, customizing your sales pipeline with custom tabs, setting up and using texting, email integration, setup and usage. Tons of different things are covered in here, even MLS credentials, and using property insights to document all of your home buyers' inquiries, showings, and offers made. And then also there's the webinar schedule along the top menu bar here. This will let you see all that we have planned for shows. Here's the one you're watching right now, Getting Started with TPX. Tomorrow, Keith Hawken, our Senior Director of Sales and Marketing, is doing increased online lead conversion on Zoom and Facebook Live. So check that out if you'd like some tips and tricks for converting online leads. And then there's also my Thursday show, 4 things you'll want to know after you set up TPX. Great follow-up to the show you've just watched today. That's digging into the day-to-day usage of the CRM, going through case scenarios, really assuming that you have gotten started with Top Producer X and now you really want to actually put it to use and work your past clients, your current clients, your leads, etc. Lots of things covered in there. So guys, please note you can view the recordings of any of the shows that we do after the fact on YouTube, so feel free to check that out. And if you are watching on YouTube right now and you enjoyed the content, would really appreciate it if you could thumbs up the video if you liked it, if you learned something today. We'd really appreciate that, and let us know that you enjoyed the content. And also make sure that you subscribe and click the bell notification icon. That's going to make sure that you do not miss out on any future coaching and knowledge content, because our YouTube page is all about customer support and coaching. So I'd really appreciate that if you guys enjoyed the content today. And make sure that if you prefer Zoom, that you subscribe to and you register for the webinars. We'll try our best to get the quality issues sorted out for next time. So once again, apologies about the video quality on Zoom today. And guys, one last reminder, if you need one-on-one help, just please reach out to customer care. We are available Monday to Friday from 7:30 a.m. Till 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, using the live chat in the bottom right corner of your CRM, or give us a call at 1-800-830-8300. You can also email our help desk at support@topproducer.com. So guys, anything from tips and tricks to questions to tech support, reach out to customer care. We'd be more than happy to help. So guys, that is all we have for today. Once again, this is your host, Spencer. Just thank you for joining in to getting started with TPX here today with myself and Marvin in the live chat. And guys, hopefully that helps you get off to a bit of a start with Top Producer X. This is only the beginning. Please reference all the materials that we have provided. We've spent a lot of time, me personally included. I've actually helped work on a lot of the video content, quick start videos and things like that we've made. So definitely want you guys to benefit from that. And give us a call if you need anything. Use the live chat. This is just the beginning of your adventure into Top Producer. And this is going to make such a huge difference for you and your business if you utilize it day to day and make the most of it. The more you put into a CRM, the more it's naturally going to give back. So guys, get in there, get some work done, keep selling houses, and we will talk to you guys next time. Thanks for joining in.